I greet you. Education and culture are the bases of humanitarian dialogue. Now we go to the intervention of Dr. Abdelaziz Almuzaini, who is representative of the President of the UNESCO.
Excellence, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Director General of UNESCO, Irina Bokova, I have an honor and pleasure to welcome you all at today's conference on the role of information and culture in the promotion of humanitarian dialogue. At the outset, allow me to express our appreciation to the organizers of the event, notably the International Center for Strategic Research and Information, led by Dr. Ali Awad, for their timely initiative to convene this important meeting, which is taking place right after the global consultation on the World Humanitarian Summit held in Geneva just a few days ago. As you may know, UNESCO, like the United Nations itself, is celebrating its 70th anniversary this year. In the aftermath of the largest humanitarian crisis in 1945, UNESCO was entrusted with the mandate to build peace in the minds of men and women and to support the reconstruction of the many educational, scientific, cultural, and communication institutions that were destroyed during the war. 70 years after, this aspiration remains valid despite a multitude of changes in the global, increased, interconnected, yet fragmented landscape. Globalization today has brought untold opportunities and breakthroughs, but also many new threats to peace, which are political, social, economic, cultural, and environmental, and sometimes a mix of these. They can take the form of intra or interstate tensions, which may turn into conflicts, wars, terrorism, water resources disputes, misuse of cyberspace, as well as the combined effect of all these forces in producing disruptive social transformations and traumatic human population movements and resulting humanitarian crisis. To this complex situation, the rise of extremism movements of violence, intolerance, and exclusion within our societies has reached new heights. The increasing acts of cultural cleansing during conflicts witnessed in Mali, Iraq, Syria, or Libya, just to name a few, is a return to early barbaric practices. The mass movement of entire populations across borders and oceans has also provoked sharp tensions, amidst profound human suffering. In this new, turbulent international and globalized landscape, the conditions for enhanced mutual understanding and peace building need to be rethought. Changes in the world call for the development of a new humanism that is not only theoretical but practical, that is not only focused on the search for values, which it must also be, but oriented towards the implementation of concrete programs that have tangible results. To begin with, greater attention must be paid to the close links between cultural diversity, dialogue, development, security, and peace. One of the most crucial challenges is to rethink these independent notions so as to inform new approaches in all domains. Education, and particularly post-primary education remains a critical step when it comes to humanitarian issues. UNESCO's response is focusing on youth education and empowerment, providing educational opportunities and enhancing quality of teaching and learning, both in formal and non-formal settings. This is, for example, the focus of our work for young people affected by the crisis in Lebanon, Jordan, and Iraq, building principally on the Syria Strategic Response Plan 2015, SRP, and the Regional Refugee and Resilience Plan 2015-2016, 3RP. In this context, the Bridging Learning Gaps for Youth program launched by UNESCO in February 2015 enables access to secondary and higher education, improve its quality, and build resilient education systems for the affected youth between ages of 15 to 30, both within Syria and in the region. Culture is more and more acknowledged as a key enabler for sustainable development, as reflected in the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. But culture remains a sensitive area, which may exacerbate tensions and forcefully humanitarian intervention after a crisis. Indeed, we witness today repeated attacks on cultural and/or religious identity in conflict, against which UNESCO calls for action by actively raising awareness on cultural cleansing. The organization played a central role providing support to the United Nations Security Council that led to the adoption of Resolution 2199, which condemns the destruction of cultural heritage and provides legally binding measures to counter illicit trafficking of antiquities and cultural objects from Iraq and Syria is worth considering. On a similar note, UNESCO's Heritage Passport has become a tool for the protection of cultural heritage, like in the case of Mali, where it served a useful purpose in sensitizing humanitarian workers and other actors intervening at the post-conflict scene in the country. The launch of mobilization campaigns such as Unite for Heritage has also proven to very effective to sensitize the international community on the importance of heritage and the denunciation of acts of cultural cleansing in conflict situations. The use of media and information literacy is another entry point for strengthening the capacities of media professionals to deliver an impartial and neutral treatment of information, notably in humanitarian and post-conflict and post-disaster situations. In this regard, the UNESCO Community Radio Program is a powerful tool as it offers a valuable substitute for information sharing among communities in areas devastated by conflicts or even environmental disasters. Overall, UNESCO work seeks to enhance the awareness of cultural and religious diversity and respect the human rights. The development of intercultural competences and cultural literacy is an evolving area of knowledge and understanding other cultures as well as one's own culture, while at the same time recognizing that each culture provides only one option among many possibilities. This is the key entry point for genuine intercultural dialogue and its relevance for preventing violent extremism, and it is central to UNESCO's lead of UN efforts in implementing the International Decade for the Rapprochement of Cultures 2013-2022. This was also at the core of the debates of the UNESCO's conference held in June last on youth radicalization and the internet. It will also be the focus of the first ever high-level conference on Countering Violent Extremism Through Education, which will take place in UNESCO on 6 November 2015. UNESCO will continue to enhance such creative and innovative collaboration with its member states, as well as with new stakeholders and partners, to further the goal of the rapprochement of cultures decade, which is to, quote, illustrate the benefits of jointly promoting respect for human rights and cultural diversity while acknowledging the importance of intercultural and interreligious dialogue to fight against new forms of racism, discrimination, intolerance, extremism, and radicalizations, thus forging ties among peoples and nations, end of quote. I have no doubt that this meeting will serve the purpose of creating better synergies for more effective information sharing mechanisms. This is a precondition for stronger coordination, while at the same time identifying and making the best use of the complementarity and comparative advantage of each and every actor committed to the indisputable values of a genuine humanitarian dialogue. Thank you for your attention. I wish you every success in your deliberations. Thanks.